Okay, welcome to the next installment of yoga for walkers, yoga for hikers. See so many of you out, especially on this beautiful sunny day like today. And it's just about a 20-minute pre or post walk or hike session. So we'll be focusing mostly on the joints of the lower body and certainly trying to open up the lower back, places where there's some compression. So a couple of props that might be handy. The blocks always handy, or some height always handy. Other than that, if there's a blanket nearby, you may find it a little bit more comfortable to have a blanket on any solid surface you might be practicing on. But we will start reclined because hiking, walking can put a lot of pressure into the lower back, so we'll just take that pressure off by starting lying down. Okay, so. It might further help to take some pressure out of that area if you're feeling a little compressed, is to slide a bolster or a pillow underneath your knees. You can also just keep your knees bent and the soles of your feet on the ground if you prefer. And alternate positions to start here. You can extend your legs out towards the front edge of your mat, maybe a little closer, a little further apart, whatever's most comfortable for you. Or you can place the soles of your feet together and take your knees wide. This might be a nice place to start, just to encourage a little passive lateral hip opening, because in hiking and walking, generally our legs are going in front of us and in back of us. So this just helps to bring our knees a little wider than our hips and support this range of motion. If you do choose to take this variation to start, the blocks can be held underneath your thighs, just to mute the sensations in the pose just a little bit if that's needed. Otherwise, you can just put them aside. Just let your legs hang there in space. Take your next exhalation right to the bottom where your belly pulls in noticeably towards your spine. And then breathe into your belly, breathe into your chest. Take a brief pause at the top and open your mouth. Exhale, and we'll do that one more time. Breathe into your belly and chest. Hold at the top, and then open your mouth, and let it go. Just moisten your lips, gently seal them closed, close your eyelids. And always find support and information through the filter of your breathing. So if you are breathing calmly throughout the shapes, the movements that we do, perhaps that's an encouragement to go a little deeper into the sensations. Or if you're not, it's probably wise to back yourself out to the degree that's needed from the pose or the movement that you're in. If your knees are parted, take your hands on your outer thighs, push your knees back together. And then from here, walk your feet a little closer towards each other. You can also do the opposite and walk your feet a little further apart if you'd like, but rock your knees from side to side. And turn your head in the opposite direction. Your knees are going. This first part here, just loosening up some muscular tension in our lower back. Maybe some is present in your neck as well. We're going to free up our joints a little bit for the first couple of moments, couple of minutes in the practice. Next time your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling, bring your right knee up into your chest and hug your thigh a little closer towards you. Bring your nose up to your knee if you'd like. Start to move your ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. So a few times one way and then a few times the other. Flex your toes back towards your shin, push them forward, stretch out the front of your ankle and the muscles in the front of your shins, and then just do that a couple of times as well. And then from here, place your foot back to the ground. Bring your left knee up into your chest, hands to your shin, and then pull your thigh in, your nose up towards your knee, and then start with the circles here. I'm a big fan of hiking, big fan of walking long distances. Pre-kids, I used to do it a lot more. Now I just chase after them, and that's kind of how I get my steps in, I guess. Now flex your toes forward, pull them back. But one day, Karen and I do hope to reclaim our hikes that we so so often did, as mentioned, pre-kids. Okay, lower your toes. I'll blame them for everything. Walk your feet back towards your bum. And then from here, push down through your feet. Lift your pelvis till you feel a little tension in the muscles in the front of it. Even down into your thighs, and on your exhalation, lower your bum back to your mat. Just a few times here. Breathe in, lift your chest, or lift your hips, excuse me. And on your exhalation, lower them. Add your arms for the final 3. Breathe in, lift your arms, extend them towards the floor behind your shoulders, and exhale. Move your hands down, hips down. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Last one. And exhale. Now roll over to a side, doesn't matter which side, and then push up to all fours. And here's a space where you may find, again, putting just something a little softer underneath your knees is helpful. Now, especially if you use grips, pulls, then your hands, you might have that almost like you're perma-gripped in your hands here. So spread your fingertips nice and wide apart, and then lift the heel of your hand and try to keep your base knuckles on your mat. Your thumb will likely come off your mat, mine does, but try to just put some pressure into the little bit of stretch into the arch of your palm, pressure into your knuckles here. And then lower your hand, then lift the other one up. And lower the heel of your hand. When your hands are down, spread your fingertips nice and wide apart. And if there is any pressure in your wrists or discomfort in your wrist, you can always move to fists here. Round your back on your exhalation. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. Lengthen down through your tailbone. Breathe in to lower your belly, but lift the ends of your spine and pull your shoulders back. And again, keep moving with your breath here. Exhale to round, and inhale to extend your spine. And last one. And then untuck your toes and move your knees wide towards the edges of your mat and bring your toes together behind you. Move your bum back towards your heels. This is child's pose. Walk your hands forward. And if your forehead doesn't quite reach the ground, just make a fist or put 2 fists on top of one another and place your forehead on your fists. Now, as hiking, walking can be, again, compressive for your lower back, I'd like you to really try to breathe deeply into the area of your low spine and then move up from there, but pay special attention to using your breath to expand into the lower parts of your torso in the back. Keep doing that, but I'd just add one more thing here. Bend your elbows, and then bring your palms together, and then bring your thumbs to the back of your neck, or in that general direction. And then walk your elbows a little further forward. Try to get some compression in your elbows, a little stretch in the front of your chest. And extend your arms forward, bring yourself back up to all fours. And step your right foot forward. And here again is where you find that blocks are very helpful. A few different heights on blocks, so take whatever height gets you firmly grounded in your foundation. So focus on the flexion of your toes. Really flex your toes strongly back towards your shin. And the intention is to get just the stretch into the calf, into your Achilles, and you'll probably feel it a little higher than that as well, but really try to focus on bringing it into the lower parts of your leg here on the right side. Walk your right hand over to that edge of your mat and take your left hand over onto the outside of your right foot. If that doesn't work, you can always keep it on the inside as well. Keep flexing your toes up. Kind of fold a little closer towards your thigh, or bring your chest around your knee in that general direction. Shift a little of your weight over to your left knee. Reach your left hand even further if you can past your right ankle. Breathe some space into your left side ribs here. Keep flexing your toes. Notice that they've gotten a little bit lax. Now bring your torso off your thigh. Bring your left hand back to its side of the mat. And then walk your hands a little further forward. Place the bend in your right knee. Move your block to the side. Now your right hand to the inside of your foot. Walk your foot a little wider. Now your back knee can stay grounded, or if you'd like, lift your back knee off the ground and just for a few moments here, circle your hips. A few times one way, a few times the other. And then place your left knee back to the ground. Now extend your right leg out past the right edge of your mat with your toes still pointing forward. You can slide your foot out as much as you can here. So you bring some tension through your inner thighs. And then move your left hand underneath your shoulder, even slightly inside your shoulder. Here, tuck your left toes. Move your bum back just a little bit, so this will likely bring a little more tension through your inner thighs here. And then lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Lower your hand, and then walk both hands forward. Again, this could be even off your mat like mine are here. Lower your chest. Perhaps again your forehead comes to the ground. If it doesn't, you can take a block or you can just let your head hang there in space. It's fine. Walk your hands back, place them underneath your shoulders. Draw up through your low belly because you're going to move your right leg here. Draw up through your low belly, lift your leg, and place your toes to the back edge of your mat. And then here, roll around on the ball of your foot here. And a few times clockwise, a few times counterclockwise. Now we're adding a little pressure into the joints here when we move them. It's obviously always healthy for them. And then pause with your heel pointed towards the back edge of your mat, and then really push your heel back there. So again, that stretch comes up into your calf and your Achilles. And bring your right knee forward. And a couple of options here. Going back to child's pose would be one of them. So again, knees can be parted, toes together behind you. Move your bum back towards your heels and walk your hands forward. Downward facing dog is another option for those of you that are familiar with the pose, or even if you're unfamiliar, you can just follow the guidance here. Walk your hands ahead of your shoulders. Make sure your hands are very strong here. Tuck your toes and move your bum back towards your heels. Lift your knees off the ground, so it's kind of this inverted V shape. And here, pedaling your heels can again bring some tension into that area that's probably been pretty active in your hike or in your walk, right in the back of your lower legs. Okay, we'll meet back at all fours. And this time, step your left foot forward. Once again, grab your blocks. Flex your toes. Keep them flexed. Pull back through your outer left hip. Walk your hands back towards your knees, I should have mentioned that. But pull your outer left hip back and place your right hand on the outside of your left foot, or similarly to where you placed your left hand last time. Now shift some weight over to your right knee, but reach with your right hand over to the top left side or to the left side of your mat. Keep your left toes flexed and keep drawing your left hip back. And then lift your torso further away from your left thigh so you can clear some space and walk your hands forward. Just move the blocks to the side and walk your left foot a little wider now. Place both hands or fists onto the ground. Again, your back knee can stay lifted or lowered, whatever works. And circle your hips. Just Just make sure you go the other way. And then place your back knee to the ground. Now extend your right foot all the way off your mat, so your toes point towards the right. Sorry, left foot off your mat. So your toes point to the front edge of your mat. Take your right hand a little closer in. Tuck your right toes, move your bum back a little bit. And breathe in and come to a twist. Extend your left arm up towards the ceiling. Lower your left hand, draw up through your low belly, lift your left toes, place them to the back edge of your mat, and start to roll around in the ball of your foot. And go the other direction. And then just hold, push your heels, so toes tucked, push your left heel back towards the back edge of your mat. And then bring your knee back down. And here, place your hands just a little further ahead of your shoulders. Move your shoulders forward. Draw up through your low belly, again, toes tucked, and lift your pelvis, lift your knees, lift your hips off the ground. Knees can stay grounded, of course. And take 2 more breaths here. Just draw your belly button up towards your spine, lift your pelvic floor to stabilize and support the lift of your pelvis and the inner curve of your low back. 1 last breath in, and we're going to go all the way to the ground, so take your time. Knees can come down first if they are lifted, and then all the way down. Slide your elbows forward. So you're in Sphinx pose, or you will be in Sphinx pose when they come forward, elbows underneath your shoulders. Untuck your toes and push firmly into the tops of your feet. If you notice your heels have gone quite wide, pull your inner ankles a little closer towards each other. And you can keep your elbows grounded, or if you'd like to deepen the back bend and it's safe for you to do that, push into your hands, lift your elbows. And lower your elbows. Now, extend your right arm out. Or down on the right side. You can also keep your elbow bent if you'd like. Either one. Pull your left hand in. Open your chest towards the left side of your mat and take your left foot over to the right side. It could be in front or behind your right leg. Come back onto your stomach, and we'll switch sides. Slide your left arm out, your right hand in. Open your chest towards the right side of your mat now, and take your right foot over to the left. Come back onto your stomach. Now slide your hands a little closer towards your low ribs. Push to all fours. And then we'll end up on our seat, or on our seats, but then on our backs. So move yourself into the middle of your mat. And from this position, you'll slowly recline all the way onto your back. Again, just taking the pressure out of your low spine. Once you're on your back, grab some height. Again, it could be something softer, so a pillow or a bolster, or something a little harder like this block or a few books. Place it underneath your pelvis. And extend your legs up towards the ceiling. So give your joints a little break, your heart gets a little break here in inversion as well. And once you've extended your legs, the option is there also to do the same with your arms. So extend your arms up. And just enough energy to keep your limbs lifted. You're really reaching up towards your toes, and your fingers got a lot of energy in them. Your shoulders are lifted off your mat. Just reverse all of that Allow your shoulders to come back to your mat, a gentle curl to your fingers. You might even be able to see the palms of your hands and the tips of your fingers. Your arms back down, bend your knees, the same with your feet. Just shuffle your prop over to the side if you have one. Extend your right leg and shift your bum just a little bit over towards the left side of your mat. Bring your left knee up and then guide your left knee over towards the right side. I like to get a little height, so I use the block here to place my inner left knee or left shin. And scooch your right shoulder closer to the right edge of your mat. Extend your left arm out at shoulder height. Twist here will bring out before Shavasana. Now exaggerate your breath. Try to feel it from the top of your chest or your chest on the left side and all the way down towards your left hip. Slowly come back out of the twist. If you'd like to take a pause in the middle of your mat and bring your knees to your chest, you just take a moment to do that. And then lower your feet. Extend your left leg, slide your hips to the right. Lift your right knee, and then take it all the way over to the left. Move your left shoulder a little closer towards the side of the mat. Extend your right arm out. As you did on the last side, really try to use or exaggerate your breath to use it to also stretch the tissues from your shoulder, right shoulder to your outer hip. Onto your back, centered on your mat. Bring your knees to your chest. And then extend your legs forward, shoulders come down and arms by your side. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Physical work is done, so try to just have that reflected in Shavasana. Try to relax as much as you can. Notice any places that didn't get the memo and try to really bring your awareness to that space, and with your exhalations try to encourage it to do so. As relaxed as your body might get, your mind in this stillness might become quite active, so the work shifts more to just being aware where your mind just takes you in this still space of Shavasana. And as much as you can, try to keep yourself embodied. Stretch your fingertips back, push forward through your toes, take a deep breath in, and then open your mouth and let it go. Keep your right arm extended and roll over to that side of your mat, into the fetal position, just for a breath or two. And then push up to your seat. Together and a little closer to you. Thank you very much for taking the time to practice, to care for your body in the way that it certainly needs to be cared for. If you are an avid hiker or just walker, you need to stretch that out pre or post or both, certainly fine. So thank you again very much for practicing, for your dedication to getting outside, and yeah, hope to see you again. Namaste.
So if we're doing this and I lift my foot, is that okay?
Okay.
Oh, because I didn't know if it's meant to be a different stretch. Like, is it meant to be for different purposes? Because you said 2 times ago that it's to space the femur bone out of the hip.
No, that was the pressure I was putting on I said push hard at the top of your femur bone. Try to give the head of your femur some space from the cup that it sits in.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what I said,
Yeah, okay, sorry, I thought, okay, then I
It's
won't
traction.
lift my foot.
It's basically traction. That's what it is.
Okay, so I thought I won't lift my foot because this is a different idea behind this.
It was.
Okay,
Correct, yeah.
Right. So I will just do the, so I didn't want to do something different because
How do you know that's in the practice today?
I don't, I just think it's because it was in the other 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Glad we got that out of the way.